Hello there, this is Andy Nicol again, the tutor for the Perfectly Spoken Advanced course. And this lesson, lesson 15 in the course, is the third review lesson. Okay, so we're going to be reviewing lessons 11 to 14. All of IELTS level 7 and level C1 on the Common European Framework. So, in this lesson, we're going to look at the following. To review the grammar of speculation and deduction, things like modal verbs must, could, may, might, can't if it's not possible, and also the adverbs and adjectives, probably, definitely, bound to, and so on. Then we'll be looking at expressions with time, a vocabulary of time, and then we'll be looking at colour idioms and also obviously reviewing the vocabulary of art as well. So let's start then with the grammar of speculation and deduction. So I've put lessons 11 and 13 together for this review, as both deal with this. But first of all, lesson 11, the modal verbs. So that's must, may, might, can. Must, may, might, could, and can't for impossible. Okay, so here we go. First sentence then. Whose car is that outside? Okay, so you're looking out the window and you see a car parked and say, it must, it may, or it can't be Dave's. His car's in the mechanics. Well, if his car's in the mechanics, it can't be parked outside. It's not possible. So it can't be Dave's. It can't be Dave's. It's not possible. Okay, next one. I haven't seen much of John lately. He's obviously a friend of yours, John. You haven't seen him recently. Lately here means recently. So you imagine that he probably has a new girlfriend. It's very likely that he's got a new girlfriend. So must would be the answer here. You must have a new girlfriend. Where's Elaine? Okay, you haven't seen Elaine. Where is she? Where's Elaine? And the other person, I'm not sure. She could or can have missed the bus. Well, only one of the modal verbs here is actually used for this purpose, for speculation, and the answer is could. Can is used for ability, such as I can swim, or to ask for things. Can I have a hamburger, please? Or to ask for permission. Can I go to the bathroom, or whatever? Okay, but not for speculation. Okay, next one. Have you seen my car keys? Have you seen my car keys? Where are they? And the other person says, no, I haven't. Well, they're either on the kitchen table or in the bathroom. The most likely one here is might. They might be on the kitchen table or in the bathroom. It is possible to say must here if you're very sure it's one or the other. Can't is not logically correct here. They can't be on the kitchen table or the bathroom. Doesn't kind of follow from what you're saying, okay? Next one. Choose the correct option. Who made the mess in the kitchen? Who made the mess in the kitchen? It must be or must have been Anne. She was cooking earlier. So you're talking about the past. Only one of these options refers to the past. And the answer is must have been. It must have been Anna. She was cooking earlier. Next one. I've spent a good 15 minutes calling the kids to come in for lunch. Kids, it's time for lunch, come in. A good 15 minutes. Good here means at least 15 minutes. Calling the kids to come in for their lunch. And the other person says they're making such a racket and such a loud noise. Is it they might not or should not have heard you? Well, here it's a possibility. So they might not have heard you. They might not have heard you. 7. He can't or mustn't have committed the crime. He was on holiday in Tunisia at the time. Well, only one of these do we use to say something's not possible, and the answer is can't. Mustn't is not used for speculation. Mustn't is only used in terms of saying that something is forbidden. Okay, you mustn't smoke in a public building, for example. Okay, so let's move on to the continuing, as I say, with speculation and deduction, this time to what we covered in lesson 13, which is should and ought to, which are synonymous, and then the adjectives, sure to, likely, etc., and adverbs, definitely, probably, and so on. So here we go. And again, choose the correct option. We probably won't, or we are likely get married until next June. Well, likely is followed by an infinitive with to. We are likely to get married. Again, it wouldn't work with until. Yeah, we are likely to get married in next June or by next June, but until no. The only one that's possible here is probably won't. We probably won't get married until next June. Okay, next one. My parents left at 2 p.m., 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They should arrive or should have arrived at the airport at least half an hour ago. So half an hour ago, we're talking about the past. So we need to use should have arrived at least half an hour ago. Should here is used to indicate something you expected to have happened in the past in this case. And then number 3, Sally definitely won't or is sure to help you to tidy up. She's really lazy. For both are possible, but in terms of the context, she's really lazy. We expect that she won't help you, so she definitely won't help you to tidy up. Okay, next one. It's sure or it's unlikely to rain later. The weather forecast said it would be sunny all day. Again, both are possible, in terms of the grammar of the sentence, but only one has a logically in terms of the meaning, and that is unlikely. The weather forecast said it would be sunny today. We don't expect it to rain later, so it's unlikely to rain. Okay, move on. She'll definitely or she'll bound to like the cake. She loves chocolate. She absolutely adores chocolate. You're sure she's going to like the cake. Both express certainty, but bound to is an adjective, so you need the verb to be. She's bound to like the chocolate. So here it's she will definitely like the cake. She loves chocolate. Next one. They'll probably be back at 8 o'clock in the evening or 8 p.m., but I'm not really sure, or they'll definitely be back. Well, if you're not really sure, it's probability, not certainty, so they'll probably be back at 8 o'clock, but I'm not really sure. Next one, we're definitely are bound to win the match. We've got by far the best players. Whereas we are. So we expect an adjective here to complete this. So which option do you think is we're bound to win the match? We've got the best players. It's somebody who's very confident about their team's ability. Okay, and next one, it's bound or it's likely that I'll be late for the meeting tomorrow. I've got some work to finish, but only one of these combines with the structure that plus clause, and that is likely. It's likely that I'll be late for the meeting. Okay, now vocabulary with time from lesson 12. So we've got the verbs have, save, spare, take, and kill. When you go to university, you will, which of these verbs completes it. Have the time of your life, as in the song from Dirty Dancing. I'm having the time of my life, or something like that. Excuse the singing. Next one. My flight was delayed by 2 hours, so I played some games on my phone. 2. So if you're waiting for something and you do something while you're waiting to occupy yourself or entertain yourself, is to kill time. Next one, don't bother trying to convince him. It's something of time. There's no point doing it. It's a waste of time. Okay, for this, I'm going to have to disappear. When you do the exam, it's important to something your time and read each question carefully. Now, to do things quite slowly in order to do them precisely or accurately is to take your time. And then, I'm sorry I can't help you move house this weekend. I've got an important project to finish and I can't something the time, meaning I don't have the time to give to you. I can't spare the time. Okay, let's move on to some prepositions now. At, before, by, and on is a prepositions to go with time. Don't you get angry when you arrive early but other people aren't punctual? They don't arrive at the time they're supposed to. On time is the answer. Something the time I got to the cinema, the film had already started. At some point before I arrived, the film had already started is by the time. By the time. Next one. He was working, sorry, I have to disappear again. He was working as an English teacher in Korea, meaning when something happened, he was working as an English teacher in Korea at the time. At the time. Next one. What's that you're listening to? The Clash, famous group from the 1970s. Never heard of them. They must have been before my time, from a different period from when I was growing up. Okay, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Okay, all right. And then finally, we're going to look at the vocabulary of art and then the colour idioms. So first of all, the vocabulary of art. Here are some images that we looked at in lesson 14. And I'm going to make them disappear in a minute. Just to run through them quickly. This represents abstract art. Still life, paintings of fruit, vases, things that don't move essentially. That's why still life. An exhibition here. Here is a sculpture, statue or a bust in this case of head and shoulders and so on. Then we've got an arrangement made with different materials, usually very big. This is an installation. Then we have a picture of a woman, I think she's a German or Austrian princess or something, is a portrait. Then we have a landscape painting, a painting of hills, mountains, the sky and scenery and so on. Then we have people dancing. This is performance art. And lastly, a woman who is painting herself, a self-portrait. So as I say, I'm going to make them disappear one by one, and you try to think what is the missing word. Okay, so the first one to disappear, right in the middle. Can you remember what it was? Take time to pause the recording now and try to think what the missing image is. And it is, of course, an installation. Another one's now going to disappear. Oops. What has gone now? Can you remember? Try to remember what has disappeared. It is, in fact, a landscape painting or landscape. Okay, ready for the next? Oops. What was that? Try to remember. And of course, it is a woman painting herself, a self-portrait. Okay, another one's going to disappear now. Oops. Right in the middle at the top, this is a picture of fruit and a jug or a pitcher. And this is, of course, a still life. Okay, next one. Oh, goodbye to let's pause the recording if you need time to think, and it is an exhibition. Next one, oops, off it goes. And that was was performance art, a group of dancers there. Next one, oh, on the right, can you remember what it is? It's a picture of a young woman, I think a member of the aristocracy, at least, princess or something. It's a portrait. And then the top left, first picture, an unusual looking picture, is of course abstract. Oh, and there's one gone there on the left of the screen. Can you remember? It's the sculpture. Okay, so let's complete the sentences with these words. First one is, some argue that something such as Tracey Emin's bed is not really art. Others say that's a concept that's important, not the artistic skill. So this is an example of Tracey Emin's bed. It's a big work of art. It's not traditional painting or sculpture. It's objects put together in some way, sometimes randomly. In this case, very deliberately, it's an installation. Okay, next one. The Louvre in Paris is both a museum. Yes, they have lots of collections of Egyptian antiquities and other things, and an art something. You can see Da Vinci's Mona Lisa there. It's much smaller than I imagined it to be when I went to the Louvre, and it's behind a big glass case. Some people believe that the original has actually been stolen and this is a fake, but anyway, whatever you think. The Louvre is both a museum and a place where they display works of art, paintings and so on, as an art gallery. Okay, next one. Some blank paintings can be worth ridiculous amounts of money. Van Gogh's Sunflowers sold for millions. And it's only a painting of a few flowers. So a painting of a few flowers, similar to painting of fruit or things that are not moving, is a still life. Number 4. At the time, actually, when Van Gogh's Sunflowers sold, it was the most expensive painting ever sold, I think, although there have been ones latest subsequently which are a lot more expensive. Anyway, I thought I'd take up painting. Take up here is a phrasal verb meaning to start an activity for the first time. I thought I'd take up painting and decided to start with something painting. So I painted local countryside, rivers, etc. is a landscape painting. Landscape painting. Number 5, I've never tried to paint a blank. I'm not sure how easy it is to paint yourself, honestly. So to paint yourself would be to paint a self-portrait. Here's some more. Damien Hirst's Something Was Very Strange with Dead Animals Preserved in Formaldehyde. I think Damien Hirst, is an English artist who famously, as it says here, displayed dead animals, some of them cut in two. So on one side you saw the animal, and the other side you saw inside of the animal, like a cow cut in two and so on. A dead shark as well, and others. Also famously a skull of a person covered in diamonds. Not my cup of tea personally, but anyway. So, very controversial. Damien Hirst's Something Was Very Strange with Dead Animals Preserved in Formaldehyde. So a place where when they display an artist's work is an exhibition. Next one. When I was in Paris, an artist in Montmartre, I hope I've spelt and pronounced that correct, the district of Paris, painted my something, and it was amazing just how much it looked like me. So he painted a picture of a person as a portrait. Number 8, I love something, especially when it involves dance. Well, the art form that involves dance here is performance art. I would love to try my hand at, that means to have a go, to see if I can do something. I'd love to try my hand at something, but it looks very difficult. I don't know how they're able to make such lifelike statues. Well, statues are an example of sculpture. And lastly on this, Picasso is probably best known for his blank paintings, most famously Guernica. It's a huge painting, depicts the bombing of the Basque town of Guernica during the Spanish Civil Wars, pictures of what seemed to be horses and people all looking in shock and terror. I think I mentioned before, it's the first time civilians had been targeted by planes in war. So very shocking. And of course, it's an abstract painting. It's not a realistic representation, it's abstract. Okay. And then lastly, we're going to look at the color idioms. So you've got green, red, blue, and pink. You'll be tickled blank to learn that you'll be appearing in the concert. So if something makes you really happy and you feel very grateful, pleased about it, it's tickle pink. Our teacher gave us this something light to go ahead with our research project. She says, yes, on you go, you can do it. You have my permission to do it. The green light. Next one, I only visit my cousins once in a something moon, meaning very occasionally. We live so far from each other. And the answer is once in a blue moon. Number 4, I've spent too much this month. Bought some clothes, been in a restaurant, eating out, etc. Go to the bank. Oh my God, my balance I've got. I'm in negative, I'm in arrears, I'm in negative figures. In my bank balance, I'm in the red, You owe the bank money. Okay, now we've got white, red, blue, and golden now. My cat turned up out of the something last night. I'd been missing for months. This is actually something that's true, not last night, obviously, but a few years ago. I had a cat that disappeared for months and then suddenly reappeared. It turned up out of the blue. There's a lot of something tape involved if you want to get a visa to visit the UK. Again, this is true. Some friends of mine who come from outside the European Union wanted to visit the UK, and they had to go to the British Embassy and blah, blah, blah in Madrid and get special tests done, biometric tests and all sorts of things. It's a very bureaucratic procedure, and in English it's called red tape. Red tape. Number 7, I don't even tell something lies. I was brought up to believe that honesty is the best policy. This is actually a saying in English. Honesty is the best policy means it's always best to tell the truth. So I don't even tell very small, insignificant lies. I don't tell even white lies. Number 8, you'll never have another chance like this. This is the something opportunity to make your claim. It's the best moment, the perfect time to do it. It's the golden opportunity. Okay, so that's the end of the review lesson. I hope that you found it useful to review some of the structures and vocabulary that we looked at over these lessons. In the next lesson, lesson 16, we'll be looking at grammar. Again, this time we'll be talking about or making hypothetical meaning. We'll be looking at words such as wish plus the past simple to talk about, strangely enough, the present. wish plus past perfect to talk about the past, and if only, which is stronger than wish but is used to express similar ideas. Okay, so I hope that you'll be able to join me for the next lesson, lesson 16. Thank you for listening to this lesson, and please do please do try the accompanying test that goes with this. Okay, thanks for listening. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye for now.